tonight?
Hey friends, Frankie and Brad here in the kitchen cooking up some music for you today. Listen, last week we talked a little bit about some 60s singers, people that were very popular, well-known songs, etc. Today we're going to continue on with some more 60s singers, and this is going to be part two. Brad, kick us off with Elvis.
Elvis Presley, he actually got his start in the 50s, but I think the 60s is where he had his
Heyday.
some of his heyday, his biggest hits. Was it Suspicious Minds?
Yeah.
Yeah, the great song. Elvis, they called him the King, and there was a reason. He was really the first big rock and roll act in the USA.
Was Suspicious Minds written by the same guy that wrote the Ghetto?
Mac Davis.
Mac Davis.
I think so.
That was an incredible pen song. Both of them.
You know, Elvis, he didn't have a lot of harmonies. He was like a solo
Soloist.
singer. Then you get to an act like the Everly Brothers, who invented harmonies.
Yeah.
They were the group that a lot of the British invasion groups tried to copy. Even the Beatles, they said that whenever they were doing harmonies, they thought, we got to do it the way the Everly Brothers would do it.
Simon and Garfunkel openly admitted when they did their live comeback tour, you know, that they were influenced by the Everly Brothers, and said, just to show you how much we like them, we brought them with us, and they brought them, and they come out and did 4 or 5 songs, and they played Bye Bye Love with Simon and Garfunkel, you know.
Yeah, Everly Brothers, they had some great songs.
Kathy's
Clown.
song. Yeah, Kathy's Clown. Yeah.
Yeah, they were just great at doing those harmonies.
Yeah. And they did, I'm not sure if they wrote it, but they did maybe the first version of Love Hurts that Nazareth made a hit. I'm not sure if they wrote that song, but they did write most of their songs.
Yeah,
so,
they did.
Uh,
You know, another early group, the Beach Boys. Now, they also had lots of harmonies. Brian Wilson wrote all these songs, and then he would tell who's going to sing it. And he knew exactly what he wanted, and I mean, you can't deny their harmonies. They had great harmonies.
That's true. Brian died recently, and such a legendary songwriter. I think wasn't it McCartney that commented Pet Shops was
Or Pet Sounds.
Pet
that
Sounds,
influenced Sgt. Pepper. They were big Beach Boy fans, and they wanted to up them. And, you know, Brian Wilson had some mental challenges,
Yes,
and he
he did.
claimed that it was trying to outdo the Beatles. Every time he would do an album and think, yeah, see if you can top that. And of course they would. And he had a lot of mental challenges trying to outright the Beatles.
And speaking of the Beatles,
The Beatles, you know, McCartney in a recent interview said he had a friend who told him, look, you guys had 4 frontmen.
yeah,
Most groups don't have 4 frontmen
that's
in
true.
the band. And McCartney said he had never thought about it like that, but he said, holy cow, we had 4 frontmen. He said, I never really didn't realize that until somebody pointed it out.
McCartney's just shattered the world when he did Yesterday. The vocals on that song were just mesmerizing at the time. It's hard to describe how that song hit the radio airwaves, and as well as the TV, and it just launched McCartney as giving him the reputation of being one of the best white singers that had ever been up until that time, even more so than maybe Elvis.
And what's even more surprising, when McCartney was in junior high, his choir or music teacher told him he should never sing.
Wow. Wow. That's wrong.
Moving on to Dave Clark 5, they were another part of the British invasion. Mike Smith, their keyboard player, I think he's one of the most underrated rock and roll vocalists. He had a great voice. Could hit into not many singers can hit overdrive is what I call it, when they just take their voice another octave and put a lot of energy into it. Mike Smith was a great singer. Dave Clark 5, they actually had enough hits to actually have a greatest hits album. Not many groups can do that.
They were amazing. I remember couldn't wait to go see their movie Catch Us With You Can, and the song was out then, real nice tune, and I thought it was a really great movie comparing it to the Beatles movies. I thought it was equal in every way, if not in some cases better. And like you said, their hits, Bits and Pieces, Glad All Over, and it just,
Any Way You Want It.
yeah.
And just a bunch of great songs.
And the drum licks. Dave Clark was a pretty spiffy drummer in his day. Moving on, we're going to go into the Kinks, Ray and Dave Davies.
You know, Ray Davies is, to me, another great songwriter of the 60s. They had so many hits coming out. And again, he was a very original writer. A
What
good
was
singer.
the song we were talking about?
You Really Got Me is
Yeah.
what got them going. All the Day and All the Night.
Yeah.
And they just
wow.
had a lot of hits. They were
So,
really
what was that? So tired of waiting for you.
tired of waiting for you.
Oh yeah. And of course Lola.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we forgot about it. The Kinks had so many hits.
That album that Lola is on, I think, is one of their best albums. They just had so many good songs.
In the 80s, something they did that very few people really did in the day is they did concept albums. They did Soap Opera and Schoolboy in Disgrace that were live plays on stage that they would perform out. That was the album. The album was almost like a short story, and they were very good. Very few people did that. Styx did it with one album, not as well as the Kinks did, but Dave Davies was definitely out of a great guitarist, and Ray Davies, you know, that always thinking out of the box.
Yes.
And of course, Van Halen praised Dave Davies' guitar work, you know, for what really got me. Was that the one they did?
Now, actually, the story is that solo was played by Jimmy Page.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
He did session work back then, and I had read where it was later revealed that Jimmy Page played that solo.
That's incredible. That's good information, Brad.
Moving on to another legend, Bob Dylan.
Absolutely.
You know, his early stuff,
Chilling.
I love the way his vocals sounded, but later he quit smoking and it changed the sound of his voice.
Yeah, the song off of Nashville Skylines, Lay Lady Lay, was the first song that I think Dylan's voice got shall we say, more pleasing.
Right.
More pleasing to airplay. And I know growing up, I was a folkie. I was into all the folk music. And Dylan was one of those songwriters like Paul Simon and Leonard Cohen and Donovan that was just a cut above. Still to this day, a hard rain's going to fall. There's so many verses in that song that I quote to this day that, I'll know my song well whenever I start singing, But Dylan could just write incredible poetry. He penned some great stuff. And
he had great influence on John Lennon. John looked to Bob Dylan as far as writing more songs with more thought, and that probably helped him greatly moving into the future like he did.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know, but Dylan turned the Beatles on to pot. They smoked pot with Dylan for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
So Bob ain't all bad. Moving on, the Animals.
The Animals, Eric Burden. Now, he had a powerhouse voice.
Whoa.
And he and John Lennon were actually really good friends.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were, and
the Animals. When I first got my driver's license, and I had a 4-track tape player, the Animals was one of the bands that I really had a lot of tapes by. Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. Their
we got to get out of this place.
Yeah,
I mean, they just had a bunch of hits.
They nailed Sam Cooke's Bring It On Home to Me.
Yeah.
Never been a better version of that song. And then, the House of the Rising Sun, of course. But Eric Burden, he just went on, and then he went on to get with War. But great vocalist, somebody that a lot of people don't remember the quality of vocals that he had.
Absolutely.
Spencer Davis Group.
Stevie Winwood, 16 years old when he was singing with Spencer Davis. He went on to have a great career as well. Spencer Davis Group, Blind Faith, Traffic. So he had,
And then solo. Yeah. What a solo career. We think of him because we're old as all those astonishing bands he played with, but his solo career was bigger than any of the bands that he was with as a recording artist. He was huge on MTV.
Yeah.
Even did a song with his wife. I don't remember the song, but it was quite good.
Now, the last two groups we're going to talk about, George Martin, who produced the Beatles, produced these two British bands, Billy J. Crammer and the Dakotas. They had a hit song called Bad to Me, which was written by Lennon and McCartney, but they never recorded it. Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Oh, God, I can't remember.
Mercy on the Ferry.
Yeah, Mercy on the... Oh, that was a killer tune.
Now, they were both produced by George Martin, and they both played Beatles songs that the Beatles never recorded. I actually own a 4-disc set. It's the 120 songs the Beatles gave away, and what they were songs that George Martin got artists that were under him to record. I'm sure that wasn't a hard sell.
Yeah.
It's a song written by the Beatles, but they haven't recorded it. Would you like to?
Jerry and the Pacemakers were great at their harmonies. They did well in America, like a lot of the British invasion artists did at the time.
Well, both of these groups were under George Martin and probably trying to copy the Beatles, I'm sure.
Yeah. Who was the label back then? Was that Capitol? That was before Apple, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I can't remember what their label was called, but they were in England. Now, George Martin, before he recorded the Beatles, he had only recorded the London Symphony Orchestra and comedy. That's all
Wow.
he had ever
I
done.
didn't know that.
So when he got a hold of the Beatles, a lot of his techniques that he used, because he really didn't know how to record rock and roll, but he was winging it, and actually a lot of things he did they still do today that he was the first to do.
Well, something Martin was able to accomplish that I think credit needs to go to him is he could take a four-piece band and make it sound like an eight-piece band, or a 12-piece
Right.
band. He could multiply the sounds. He did overdubs, things that for the day a lot of people didn't know how to do, or didn't do, and he did some pretty complicated stuff for the day.
Well, when you consider that Sergeant Pepper was recorded on a 4-track recorder, I mean, today they got probably 50 tracks they can use.
Sergeant Pepper, and Beatle people will kill me for saying this, but it is my favorite Beatle album, not by a little, but by far. But Revolver and Rubber Soul fans are going to beat me up on that one. Anything to add, Brad?
No, I think that takes care of part 2, but there was a lot going on in the 60s.
There was. The 60s was a phenomenal time. Listen, friends, we'd like for you to subscribe to our site, or at least consider. Give us a couple of thumbs up. Help us out by subscribing. We need your subscriptions. It helps us grow, helps us give you better content. But as always, thank you so much for taking your time to watch our video. And we appreciate you. And you have a great day. Thanks again.